Hi.
I'm Nord.
And I'm Wei.
And we're
Two kids on a couch.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Two Kids on a Couch. Today, we're going to be talking about the nominees for Best Musical.
Rounding off this year's Tony season.
You said that last time.
Yeah, I know.
That's going to be a thing. Okay, very good. The nominees this year include Buena Vista Social Club, Dead Outlaw, Death Becomes Her, Maybe Happy Ending, and Operation Mincemeat. So let's get into it. Let's really
Let's
dive
get
in.
into it. Let's start with the one I'm surprising no one least interested in.
Buena Vista Social Club? Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, it's
Is that terrible to say?
No, I think it's probably accurate. I feel similarly. It's but some people liked it a lot. It got nominated for Best Musical.
It's tied for
Best...
most nominations.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Best Book of a Musical, Featured Actress, Scenic Design, Costume Design, Lighting Design, Sound Design, Direction, Choreography, Orchestrations. And it's already going to win a special Tony Award for the musicians who make up the band.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah, I like it when they find ways to kind of celebrate that kind of unique stuff.
Yeah, shout that out.
Yeah, so yeah, a lot of nominations.
Yeah. So it's Buena Vista Social Club is a jukebox musical, right? It is made up of this one like very iconic album of Cuban music, and it kind of tells the story of how that album came to be and like what it led to for this artist.
Very $1 Million Quartet.
Very $1 Million Quartet, which is another very successful show. I think it's probably the best version of this musical that it could be.
Sure.
Like the creative team is crazy. It's up for best book, which is pretty hard in a jukebox musical, but to have that like out the gate like constraint. You know our thoughts on jukebox musicals. We don't love them.
Yeah.
But I do recognize the need to have this kind of music on Broadway.
I agree.
And it looks like such a fun time. Such like a turn your brain off, look at like people like an underdog story and just like people being pals reuniting with like their loved ones. Like that's great.
Yeah. And I think I do give like a little bit more grace, and maybe this is also my ignorance or whatever, right? But like I'm more interested in a jukebox musical about musicians that are maybe less well known into the New York audiences, right? Than like, do we really need to know what Carole King came from, kind of, right? This is maybe like more of an untold story, which makes me feel a little bit better about it. But yeah, so I think it's a good work. I remember reading a review that kind of said could have been a concert, right? Could have been like a really nice tribute band doing this really great music, sharing little anecdotes throughout. It's not really like a.
But it's not. It's a musical.
Yeah.
Also fine.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think probably not unlike Just in Time, right? Or the Louis Armstrong one, right? Two other biopics of, granted, more generally well-known people, but like, just like people vibing, people having a nice time, singing songs you like. Is the place for that Broadway?
Producers seem to think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know that it'll necessarily win any of these. It might get some of the technical stuff. Like sound design, maybe.
I would say orchestrations over sound design.
That makes more sense.
It wouldn't shock me if it gets like Best Featured Actress.
Yeah, I don't know enough about like what she did specifically.
I also don't, but it's giving Hell's Kitchen, where like you go to see this one featured actress like blow the roof off this place in an otherwise like not necessarily like Tony winning show.
Yeah, you very well might be correct. But yeah, definitely a cool show.
Yeah.
Next we got Dead Outlaw.
Dead Outlaw.
Nominated for Best Musical, Best Book of a Musical, Best Original Score, Leading Actor, Featured Actor, Featured Actress, and Best Direction.
I think the show's super, super cool.
Have you seen it yet?
No, but a friend of mine saw it off Broadway and said it was the best thing she's ever seen, and we're hoping to see it in the next couple of weeks. Everything about it looks great.
I agree. I think I might be very into the show.
And listen, God knows we're all shouting about how we want original musicals, and buddy, this is it.
This really is. Yeah.
Like technically it's based off of like a historical event, but that doesn't count.
Because it's a weird one, right?
Like it's a weird one that no one knew about. Look at Lin-Manuel Miranda. We all know Alexander Hamilton. He's on the bill. No one knows about this guy. Premise of the show, right? There's this outlaw, dies in a duel in the Wild West in whatever time that was, 1850s, whatever that is. Anyway, he gets preserved, taxidermied. And he's in this like taxidermy shop for a really long time. But then, time changes or whatever. He ends up in like a wax museum because people are like, wow, look at this great fun wax figure. He's in the wax museum for a while. Eventually some guy, and then he like travels with a circus. It's a whole thing. Eventually some guy clocks that this is a real corpse. Like, this is not a wax figure. This is a corpse, but it had been so long since he died. Yeah. No one knew.
Kind of the first act, at least the first half of the first act, is like his life.
Yeah.
And then the second act is just all the crazy places that the corpse gets carried. And Andrew Durand is just like, they don't use a dummy. He's just there the whole time. He's just he's just corpsing. The vibe of this show reminds me of Bloody Bloody Andrew Jackson. They have like a rock band on stage and a lot of the singing, which isn't always my favorite thing, but it looks like it's well used here. But I think it's a contender for best musical.
I think it is too. I do think it depends on marketing, truthfully.
Yeah.
I think Andrew Durand, he's probably my top pick.
Yeah.
And in a perfect world, he would be second closest. Based on the number of biopics this year, he's probably towards the bottom.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember that whole category.
I know it's Darren Criss, it's James Eaglehart,
Jonathan Groff,
this guy. Yeah. But regardless, Andrew Durand, who we all saw in Shucked.
I've been like a casual fan of Andrew Durand for a while. He was in, like before Shucked, he did now I'm gonna not be able to name any of the shows that he was in. He's in the Burnt Part Boys from back in the day. And the show with Steven Pascal, where he plays like he's also like a Wild West kind of robber dude. It'll be on the screen. The title of the show will be on the screen right now. But yeah, so I was excited to kind of see him get his moment in the sun and Shucked. I would love for him to win here, because yeah, I think he does a good job. He's got a shot at some of the creative work. Like I think it's got I think so too. Good shot at book and maybe score. It's the band's visit team. It's the music, book, direction. All those people are the people who did band.
What I will say about Dead Outlaw, and maybe this is jumping the gun a little bit, in a time in which we are always like, give us more original musicals. Dear God, give us original musicals. Yeah. We have 2 this year.
Yeah.
And they are unfortunately going to be going head to head in all of the creative stuff.
I hope this tours, or at least like is able to do it regionally a lot.
I think the regional theaters are going to eat it. I think the colleges are going to eat it up.
I think so too. Yeah, I think it's a really good college show.
In the same way that they love doing Bloody Bloody.
Yeah. Do support Dead Outlaw.
Dead Outlaw.
Next we have Death Becomes Her.
Becomes Her.
Which is nominated for Best Musical, Best Book of a Musical, Best Score, Leading Actress for Megan Hilty, Leading Actress for Jennifer Samard, Scenic Design, Costume Design, Lighting Design, Direction, Choreography. I wanted to not like this show so much.
No, and they're making it so hard. It's so good.
And like every time someone I knew went to see it, they're like, yeah, we like this wasn't the one we were interested in, but like while we're here, we'll go see it. And then it was the best thing they saw. Yeah. And I like finally sat down and listened to the whole thing the other day, and I'm like, oh, this is pretty good actually.
It's pretty good. Yeah. No, and like it's just I haven't seen it, but like everyone I've talked to is like just airtight, like seamless, like costumes, choreography, direction, acting, score, like jokes are just like coming and going. It's paced so well.
Yeah.
I do think this is probably one of those like perfect adaptations.
Yes, this is as good as Death Becomes Her could ever be.
Yeah.
I think you're probably right. Yeah.
That's like what you want.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think it's not unlike Oh Mary, right? Like this one it's just a good time. Yeah. This one is just campy, little fun.
Yeah.
And there's probably a reason that's kind of what's filling the Broadway space these days.
Yeah.
At least a couple of those things. People are just looking to kind of turn off
have a good time.
And have a good time.
Have a good time, see some titties.
That's what we're all here for.
That's what we're all here for.
I don't think of myself as the target audience for it, but I can't deny that it's like very well crafted, very well made.
Yeah. And I think their nominations reflect that, and I expect their wins will as well. I don't think it's going to win everything. I do think it'll win a number of these. I don't think it's going to win Best Book or Best Score. If it wasn't Audra,
that's exactly my thought.
I'd say one of them would win.
Right? But, I agree. If it wasn't for Audra McDonald.
I think costumes is probably a lock. I think choreography, honestly, might be a lock. scenic design too. It's like,
Insane. Yeah.
like I don't know what else it would win. Like
Oh,
what take that for the musicals.
I think scenic design might go to maybe happy ending.
Oh, okay. Okay, well that's fair.
Yeah,
Well, we're
but
not talking about that show right now.
correct. Yeah, no, I agree. I think the costumes are stellar. I could see it getting a number of the design categories. Scenic is definitely a contender. Lighting is a contender.
Yeah.
Direction perhaps.
Well,
Oh,
let's
you're
find
right.
out.
You're right. And I don't think of it getting choreography, but I don't actually know.
I think
That might
it's
be
the
fine,
best
actually.
show that's nominated for choreography.
That's a valid point. Yeah. And we love Chris Catelli.
We love Chris Catelli.
Yeah. So yeah, so almost in spite of ourselves, Death Becomes is a pretty good show.
Death Becomes is a pretty good show.
Yeah.
It can be done well,
That's
which
right.
means we will not tolerate badly done adaptations. Get him out of here.
That's right. We don't need them.
We don't need him, don't want him.
That's right. Run everything by us before you decide to put it on Broadway.
God, is that so much to ask?
All right, next we have Maybe Happy Ending, a new musical. It's nominated for Best Musical, Best Book, Best Score, Best Leading Actor, Best Scenic Design, Best Costume Design, Best Lighting Design, Sound Design, Direction, and Orchestrations. I'm so happy the show's good. I've been wanting the show to be good. Like, in the same way I wanted Death Becomes to be bad, I've been like wanting this show to be good and been so stressed about whether or not it actually is.
Yeah, but it is.
But it is, and I'm so happy about that.
Yeah. This is part 2 of like actually just full red-blooded original musical.
Totally, yeah.
Not even on history.
Concept for this one, right? It's 2 robots in South Korea, 2 retired robots who are like personal assistant robots who are in the retired robot apartments, which is a lovely setting. And they decide to go on an adventure to go find one of theirs old owner, and they bond along the way and learn what it is to be a little bit more human.
Critical response has been insane, both here and also overseas where it premiered.
Yeah.
Like,
oh man.
Like what a time when empathy for robots is at an all-time low for this show to come in and to just knock it out of the park.
Yeah. The set I think is beautiful. I love the way they do all this stuff. So Michael Arden directed it, and it's the dude who does Dane Lafferty, who does like all of his artistic design stuff.
Yeah.
And man, they're such a good team. So I think it has a real shot at scenic and lighting, especially in the design categories.
I think you're probably right.
Maybe the costumes, I guess, all nice, but
yeah. I feel like costume is going to go to something that has just more costumes.
I'm excited for Darren Criss to be nominated. I'm heartbroken that Helen Shen wasn't nominated.
I am too. That feels like, especially, and not to make the show about that, there's been mixed responses to Darren Criss being cast in the show to begin with, given the fact that he's obviously not Korean. No part of him is Korean. Correct. God love him, pretty voice, not Korean. And not that that's like, they're robots.
Right.
But to have like that whole weird like snag in this otherwise like really like perfect, beautiful show, and then to not nominate Helen feels a little.
I agree. Of the two of them,
not Darren's fault.
No, I think he does a really lovely job. The only thing Helen did wrong was opening a show in the season of Audra McDonald and The Death Becomes Her ladies. Like that's the only reason she's not on this list.
Yeah, and that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I will say this, like, ick notwithstanding, Darren Criss is to his core a theater nerd. And it's and like it's always really special when you're like, when it's like, oh my God, guys, he's one of us. He's a loser.
I do feel that way.
Nominated.
I do feel that way, absolutely. And I had forgotten that this was his first one. I think of him as like a staple of the Broadway community or whatever.
No, but and this
I think replacements and stuff.
I think it's his first time ever originating something on Broadway.
Yeah, I mean,
extra big for him.
Yeah, he's done like replacements, and he was in the revival of
Oh, American Buffalo.
American Buffalo. Yeah, you saw that.
You're so right. I did. He was
Yeah.
in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll win, but I think he did very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause I think it's got.
I think you're right.
I think they got a good shot at some of the designs for lighting and scenic at least.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's got a good shot at direction.
I'd love for it to win direction. There's never a time Michael Arden's going to be nominated where I want anyone else to win, and I will die on that hill.
Yeah.
Because no one is as good at this as he is. You know, he also directed Ben Platt's Residency at the Palace.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's fine.
Does that make you feel differently about it? It made me feel differently about it.
If you're gonna have a residency at the Palace, that's who I would want directing it.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly why this happened, but I got a chance to sit in on two different like Michael Arden talkback things while he was working on this show, like out of town iterations.
Yeah.
And in both of those different talkbacks, he talked about like the relationship he formed with the stage automation technician, and how like that learning that conversation and building those skills like helped make him a better director and everything. And so as someone who's kind of passionate about stage automation, that made me really happy. I can't decide if it's going to win the content awards, the book and score stuff.
Book and score. I'd love for Dead Outlaw to get one and maybe Happy Ending to get one. I don't care which.
I think I might agree. I think both of them have a stronger book than score, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think likely Happy Ending will get both, and I think that's okay.
I think you're probably right.
I think Happy Ending is going to win Best Musical.
I think you're probably right. Maybe Happy Ending.
Maybe Happy Ending.
All right, and our final nominee, Operation Mincemeat, a new musical.
Our first nominee.
This one is nominated for Best Musical, Best Book, Best Score, Best Featured Actor, and that's it. And Best Musical. That's all.
Great.
Yeah, I like the show a whole lot.
Yeah, I love what this show represents. This show is very much the Oh Mary of the Best Musical category.
Yeah,
I think all the best ways. It's just like a bunch of like sketch improv comedians from London who are like, I bet we could make a musical, and then they did it. It was pretty good.
Yeah, like
is it perfect? No, absolutely not. But like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, having not seen it, this show like hits my short list of the Peter and the Starcatcher, of the like things like I would love to be a part of this production one of these days. Because like it is ensemble doing some kind of clowny stuff. Mm-hmm. In the same vein of like some of the Mischief Theater, Play That Goes Wrong folks or whatever, right? It does do the funny until it's not. There's like two moments in the show that are like super emotional, and the rest is just hilarious.
Yeah, and it takes a real like Mel Brooks approach to comedy about like tough subjects, which is very effective. It's like a very effective way of like resisting. A friend of mine saw it this past weekend and said that it just like prioritized storytelling over like big high notes, like in like sustainability and like connection above like kind of like the flash that we've come to associate with like Broadway productions. And I think that's great too. I'm an actor first, you're an actor first. Where's the shows for the actors first? You know what I'm saying?
You speaking my language. Yeah, absolutely. Because you're exactly right. Like this is another reason like why I'm thrilled for it to hit the regional circuit as well. Because like because you're right. Like it was like made by like the three writers are also the three stars, and then one of the other guys is Jack Malone, is one of the other is nominated. So there's only one person in this cast who wasn't nominated again. What are you gonna do? But yeah, like they wrote it for themselves, right? They wrote it like we know that we're not we don't have some crazy belt or whatever. We're just a bunch of clowns, bunch of
silly little guys.
Yeah.
Making a silly little show.
Yeah.
I don't think this show will win anything that it's been nominated for, which is sad, but great because it means that there's such a wealth of others. But I think that this show being on Broadway will lend it a lot of credibility in the regional and high school circuits, and I think that it will have a long and lustrous life.
I hope so. I think it won Best Show in London. But I agree. Yeah, I think it's not necessarily again, and in another season, I think could have done really well. But again, like because this is also pretty original. This is also based off history, based off like a thing that happened in World War II. but yeah, so like, but I still consider that like pretty darn original, right?
Pretty
So this
original. Oh, for sure.
and
Yeah,
Dead
yeah. I
Outlaw
mean,
and
it's certainly their own take on like a historical.
yeah,
I mean, like it's original the way that like Hamilton is original.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And so I think it's so cool that we get three really good original shows this year.
Absolutely, 100%.
And they're the three good ones.
Say it again for the people in the back.
Yeah, so yeah, I think you're right. I think it won't win anything. It also has a good book, man. It's a good year for books.
It's a good year for book. I also have heard that the book is much better than the score.
Yeah, that checks out.
Which, yeah, because again, it wasn't written by musical theater people. It was written by just a bunch of just sillies, bunch of silly.
I do like the music though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm thrilled that it exists. I would love for it to do very well.
Yeah.
But yeah. And those are the original musicals this year
Woohoo,
that are
original musical.
nominated.
Great year.
Yeah.
Great year, if I may say, for musicals in general. Broadway's having a bit of an epidemic right now in which things open and then close immediately. And this year is no exception. And for the most part, these three all just opened later in the season. But we're getting a lot of musicals on Broadway, and a lot of them are like pushing, and to see like the three most original of this year all highlighted gives me a lot of encouragement. It bolsters me, if you will, that this is like the turn that audiences want to take.
There are a lot of less original shows that open this year that you don't see on this list.
That you don't see on this list, that you don't see on this list. And a lot of less original shows that are open right now.
Yeah.
That you don't see on this list.
All right. Well, this is our first or second or last or middle episode. So watch the next one if there is one.
Or don't.
Or don't. Thank you, Ouchie.
I take it back.
Like maybe not.
I stand by what I said, but I do take it back.